Oh, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So happy to have you with us here tonight. My name is Nicholas Viselli. I am the artistic director of Theater Breaking Through Barriers. And yes, I am coming to you live from high atop the glorious Thunderdome here in beautiful, dusky Midtown Manhattan on a Sunday evening. Wow, you guys, I want to welcome all of you to our fourth Virtual Playmakers Intensive, or VPI 4. Transformations. I'm so happy that you guys could be here. This is our closing night for our intensive. I can't believe it, though. We have gone through an entire week, 10 shows, and here we are at the very end for this installment. But yeah, I've just been I'm so grateful to everybody, all of you for watching, and certainly all of our artists and, you know, our writers, everybody. It's just been so incredible. So for our final show, I think we're going to be closing tonight with a really beautiful, beautiful play by the magnificent Caroline Aaron. You know, Caroline is such an incredible artist, and I can't wait to talk to her afterwards because she has such a wonderful and a prestigious acting career. She's done so much, and she does so many other things. But to have her as a writer, and to have her such an incredible writer, it's just, you know, she's a very, very deep well. So I'm so thrilled that we can showcase her work tonight. The play is called Lost and Found. It was directed by yours truly, and we have again a stellar cast. Samantha Debicki, John Martin McDonough, John Paul Niang, and Ben Rauch. So, ladies and gentlemen, sit back and relax. Without further ado, I want to turn you over now to our voice, our guide, our audio describer par excellence, the beautiful and gifted and dazzling Anne-Marie Morelli. Take it away, Anne-Marie.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, again, and welcome to TVTV's Virtual Playmakers Intensive, Transformations. I am here to remind you all that during our virtual productions, our stage is your computer. Currently, our stage is dark. Once the play begins, the characters will appear in individual Zoom boxes on your screen. Tonight's production, Lost and Found, was written by Caroline Aaron and directed by Nicholas Viselli. And it features J. Martin McDonough as Norman Beals, late 60s, a retired teacher and photographer. He's balding with salt and pepper hair on the sides. He has blue eyes and wears round wire-framed glasses. Ben Rauch as Bud Beals, early 30s. He's Norman's son, a music teacher. He has long dark brown hair, blue eyes, and he has long dark brown hair and blue eyes. Samantha Debicki is Fig Beals. She's in her late 20s, and she is a waitress. She has long red hair that is all pulled back and has some straggly pieces hanging around her face. She has the most magnificent blue eyes. And finally, John Paul Niang as Jerry Johnson, 17, a high school student, a dog walker, a neighbor, and a good friend to Norman. And he has short, curly, dark hair and beautiful dark eyes. All of the play's action will take place over a period of 3 weeks. And so, without further ado, Lost and Found by Caroline Aaron. Scene 1. Late afternoon in a book-lined but otherwise underwhelming middle-class living room in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Norman Beals, worn and natty, appears in a Zoom box, speaking to an unknown person.
I am the host, so I am first. That's better. Oh, here it comes. Carl. Hi, you're on. Unmute yourself and start the video. The button, bottom right. Do you see it at the bottom? Oh. If that's you calling, I can't get to the phone. It's upstairs and my knee is troubling me. Just look at the bottom on the right. On the right. You see it? There's a picture of a microphone. It's an icon. Come on in. Shakes. Shakes. Chair's here. It's my dog walker. Just a sec. Thanks, Chair. And oh, your envelope is on the front hall table. You got his leash. Have fun, boys. He's a nice kid. Couldn't get along without him. Delivered my groceries a while back. Shakespeare ran to him like a long lost friend. Hired him on the spot. But I have to say, the going rate has gone way up. $20 a walk. It's crazy, huh? Yeah, Shakespeare loves him, so I can't put a price tag on that. Who knows if I'll be walking anytime soon, this bum knee. My parts are wearing out one by one. I can't see you or hear you. Did you find the buttons? One is video and one is audio. Just click on those. Oh, you know what? Forget it. It says 2 participants, so I know you're there. I am revising my will. Obviously, I can't come into the office to sign anything, just need reassurance that a video will be legally binding. If so, I'm good to go. Talk soon. To my children. This video, I have to press record. Okay. Record and go. To my children. This video will stand as my legal and binding last wishes. We cannot be together right now, so I wanted to get this down for whenever. My estate is to be equally divided among the 2 of you. That will include all the stocks, bonds, and my life insurance. It doesn't add up to much, but a little mad money for each of you. Carl has a copy of all this in his office. The condo by the shore is left in both your names. It's a lot to maintain. You both have busy lives far away. No one has really used it in the past couple of summers. Sell it if you want. Without upgrades, it can't be worth much. I couldn't part with it. Your mother loved it so. The sunsets, she would say, were a preview of heaven. Do not get trapped in sentimentality like I did. She would never want that. Neither do I. Use the money to travel or get another degree. My list of bequests, the detritus of a life, that is harder to distribute. I've made a list based on what I think you would enjoy. Okay. Come in, Jerry.
Yes, me and Shakes are back. A quick one.
Leave his leash on the hook.
Okay, Shakes. See you later tonight. Double bubble boil and trouble. Good boy. I'll be back after dinner. See you at 8, Mr. Beals.
Thanks so much. I had all this written down. Now I can't read my handwriting. Oh, right. The the globe with the pushpins of our trips, I want to go to Bud. You are my wanderer. My books, for whoever wants them, but I have them earmarked for Bud. Well, you're my wanderer. My Mima's rings, as well as Mom's, they should go to Fig. My photographs, which fluctuate in value, take what you want, sell the rest. Well, the invitation to the Kennedy inauguration and my collection of political buttons is probably the only thing of real value in the house. Split those however you want. All the albums, pictures, family memorabilia, look through it and throw it all away. Don't be weighed down by family history. You should be making memories of your own. Remember what your mother always said, the family you make must be more important than the family you came from. Hmm? Oh, wow. There's a lot here. The dishes and linens, notebooks, knickknacks, clothes, old toys, rugs. I've inventoried it all, had it appraised, but not assigned it. I plan to get to that top of the list, the to-do list that I never do. I'm struggling with how do I pass it all on? Who will want what? What can I leave you? What do I have of value? I'm in my third act, forbidden to see you or anyone. We're all in danger of infecting each other. It's this damn virus. You know, if we're so contagious, why can't we, and by that I mean the human race, why can't we infect each other with a sense of humanity? Wouldn't it be great if loving kindness was contagious, or generosity, or a sense of fairness? No, I know, I can hear you now. Oh, Dad. My generation, maybe. We always believed that those who had the most should take care of those who had the least. And that seems very out of style. Yeah. I'm old-fashioned, and I know how embarrassing that has been for my children, but please, Bud, still wear a kilt on St. Patty's Day. And Fig, I know your friends all call you Fiona, but please don't change your name legally. Your mother and I loved figs, the perfect food, mysterious, regal, and delicious. And that's who you are. Well, what else? Oh, the house. I have left money in a separate trust to pay the mortgage, taxes, and upkeep for a while. Neither of you want to come back here to live, so I made the decision to leave the house to Shakespeare. And to Jerry and his mom. Damn. Well, they'll call back if it's important. Much better idea, Shakes. Let's eat. I'll finish this later.
He exits the box, but doesn't shut down his screen. After a beat or two, he crosses back in, saves the recording, and closes out Zoom. Blackout. Scene 2. Bud Beals, dressed in a homemade costume, comes up in a Zoom box. He admires his image. He picks up a shield and admires himself. After a beat Fig Beals appears, pretty but harried, showing signs of cabin fever, is wound up.
Captain Robin, reporting for duty.
What are you wearing?
You like it? I realized that Robin Hood was the original superhero, so I wanted to reinvent him and update him for today. I made him a little more patriotic. He still steals from the rich to give to the poor. That's the same. But no swords, no band of merry men. But he needs a superpower. What should that be? I mean, I have some ideas. A laser light or mind control.
Hi, Dad. Oh, I don't think his sound is on. Dad? Hi, Dad. Dad. Hi, Dad. How are you?
What time is it?
You don't know what time it is? He doesn't know the time.
No, I know the time. I'm at the time where you are. I am 100% compos mentis.
Oh, I'm in Brazil.
You sounded disappointed
And what?
in my astute mental faculties.
Not at all. Why would you say that?
Well, I haven't seen either of you in almost a year. Figured you were biding your time until,
Dad, you know we can't come visit, don't you?
I guess, you're busy living your lives, and that's as it should be.
No, Dad, so we don't transmit the virus to you. We're staying away to protect you. I'm in Arizona with Ryan. As soon as it's safe, we're planning on a road trip to Pennsylvania to see you.
You could come now.
Dad, we can't. Not until it's safe. I would never forgive myself if you got infected.
Well, no need to worry about that.
Well, of course there's a reason to worry. I can't even leave this country right now. The U.S. has banned all travel coming from Brazil.
You're stuck there?
For the foreseeable future, yes. No good deed goes unpunished. I came down to teach music to South American kids who are undeserved in the arts, and now I'm stuck.
You're a superhero. Can't you put on a cape and fly home?
Shut up, Fig.
Really, you two. Bickering electronically. What is that you're wearing? Is that a costume?
I have nothing else to do, so I cut up some face masks and made it a mask and working on a new superhero. What do you think?
I think it's marvelous what you do with your imagination. When am I going to see you?
We just told you, Dad, we can't travel right now. The virus.
I have the virus, so nothing to fear.
You what?
You have the virus. Are you sick?
Well, not very. I was feeling weak. I met with Dr. Klein virtually. He told me to go get tested. So I did. I passed with flying colors.
You tested positive? Where have you been? Have you been going out?
No, other than to walk shakes around the block, nowhere.
You must have been somewhere. How else could this happen?
Hey, Jer, keep him out a while. He needs a good romp. I'm no good these days for fun. Leave. Your envelope is on the table.
Thanks, Mr. Bede. Come on, Shakes. You and me, Bunny, off on an adventure.
Oh, it's Jerry. He's helping out with shakes until I get some strength back.
Should you be in a hospital?
Oh, no. I'm fine. And lucky, it was just a mild case. Low-grade fever the last couple of days, but it was rough in the beginning. Well, the aspirin took down the fever, and now I just feel weak, which is to be expected.
But you're alone.
That's true for a long time now.
Why didn't you tell us?
I am telling you.
No, when you got diagnosed.
There was no need. Jerry was here and got me anything I needed. He is just terrific. He's finishing his last year of high school at Freeman. Shakes loves him. And I do too. Gives me a chance to teach again. Well, you know me, I can't help myself. Although I think when you two got to middle school, my math skills left you waiting. Oh, let me show you something. uh, Jerry taught me my first selfie.
Dad, I can't. Can you tilt it
Norman
up a
will
little
have
bit?
the picture
Like
from
forward.
his phone up to the camera.
Uh,
He's not wearing a mask?
oh, I guess not. I didn't notice.
Dad, he can't come in the house without a mask.
I'll let him know.
Jesus.
Oh, stop. I'm fine. Another week or so and I'm back good as new. I'm trying to get to my to-do list. I was clearing out some stuff from the attic. Fig, do you want Pig and Petunia and your beanie bears? There must be 100 of them.
No, give him away.
You don't want Pig and Petunia? Your best friends? Cold.
Shut up.
I'm just saying.
But your Legos, I'm afraid your Ebbets Field is no longer standing, just pieces here and there. How you dress your G.I. Joes as baseball all-stars really made me smile.
Save those for me.
Yeah, your best friends, and apparently they still are.
Let
Sad.
it out. Be thankful you have each other.
We are, Dad. Really. Look, maybe I can come sooner. Let me talk to Ryan, and I'll see if he can get off work so we can drive across. Maybe next week.
You know I would be there if I could.
Neither of you has to rush here. I have Jerry and I'm fine. But I am tired now. I'm going to lie down. We'll talk again later in the week. We have to stop meeting like this.
We do.
Night, Dad. Get some rest. Love you.
Oh, me too. Good night.
What the fuck? Dad has COVID?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's under control, don't worry.
Should we get him a home health aide?
With what money?
His?
He would never agree.
I know.
He'll be fine.
And if not, Captain Robin to the rescue?
Yeah, working on it. You good?
No, but what choice do I have? The bar is closed, so I'm getting unemployment and watching all 12 seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race. Thank God Ryan can work remotely.
My Portuguese is improving, so that's a good thing. I'm writing some, but I want to come home.
Soon. I need to go, but let's talk later in the week. I'll check in with Dad.
Me too. Don't worry. Captain Robin is here. Signing off until next time.
Fig smiles, and then Bud and Fig leave the meeting. Blackout. Scene 3. Bud, Fig, and Jerry now all appear in individual Zoom boxes. Their eyes are red. All are somber and grieving.
I came in to walk Shakes. He didn't come when I called. So I called out to Norman when there was no response, and I walked into the living room. Norman was slumped over his desk chair. He was dead. Shakes was under the table sitting at his feet. He wouldn't come out for his walk.
When had you seen my dad last?
For Shakes' morning walk. Then I left for school and came over right after.
5 or 6 hours earlier, he was fine.
I thought so.
Well, was he or wasn't he? How did he look? Had he dressed? I mean, were there breakfast plates in the sink or his coffee cup on a coaster? The one from the Watergate? The one that's next to the desk? The chipped one?
Whoa, Fig. Sorry, Jerry. We're all in shock.
Yes.
Where is Shakes now?
Under the desk in
I
Norman's
meant
office.
since Dad died.
Here.
Uh-huh. And where are you right now?
Pennsylvania.
No, where are you logging in from?
I'm at Norman's. I come here to feed Shakes every day and walk him. I have the key.
Jerry, Shakes can't stay in the house alone. You'll need to take him home with you.
I'll have to ask my mom.
If that's not okay, don't worry. He can go to a shelter.
No. I'll take him home.
If your mom says no, we can figure something out.
Was my dad straight with you?
I don't understand.
Did Norman owe you money?
No.
Okay. All right, well, we will get you a check for this week. And Jerry, thank you so much for taking care of Shakes and my dad. I really hope we can meet in person someday.
If we do a memorial or something, we'll get in touch.
We probably can't, but on the off chance that we do, will you give me your number?
Okay. I'll ask my mom. Come on, Shakes, let's go. You're going home with me.
Blackout. Scene 4. A week later, Fig and Bud in Zoom boxes.
I just watched it. Wow.
Believe it. He left the house to a dog. Why would he do this? Ryan and I were going to buy something with the money that we got when the house sold. This is so fucked. Did you call Carl? I'm sure the video is just the mad ramblings of a disappearing mind. They now know that COVID also affects mental health, and it was definitely the disease talking. It doesn't count.
Do you have a copy of his real will?
Do I?
He sent us both a hard copy years ago. Right after Mom. You have it.
I have that?
Yes, he emailed it. He sent it to both of us and Carl and CC'd Carl. I printed it and put it away. You obviously didn't.
Well, can you forward it to me?
Well, nothing can happen right now. I mean, we're not allowed to go into the house. As soon as Carl forwards the transfer of the deed to the state, we can go in and get the house ready to go on the market. No hurry, though. I can't get back for another couple weeks. Plus, interstate travel is banned for now.
We're his kids, for God's sake. What the fuck? You're telling me we can't go into our own house?
Technically, it's not ours. Unless we were minors. But maybe there's an exception for Captain Robin?
Stop it. This is serious. Jerry Johnson? Who is he? He's not even out of high school.
Carl will straighten that out. Don't worry. Assuming I can get back in a couple of weeks, when can you meet me?
I'll fly. I don't have to wait for Ryan. Whenever you can get there, I will be there.
In his real will, his estate in its entirety is divided equally between us. We're good. Don't worry.
I feel bad.
About what?
We weren't there.
We couldn't be.
Good old-fashioned heart attack. It wasn't even COVID.
It was.
What do you mean?
COVID fucks with all your organs.
Yeah, well, the autopsy lists heart attack as the official cause of death.
Poor Dad.
Yeah.
I'll be in touch with Carl and let you know when I can actually fly out of here.
Okay. And if Captain Robin goes on a mission, tell him I could really use some dough. I haven't worked in almost a year.
I'll let him know. We're orphans.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we are. I'll talk to you soon.
Give my best to Ryan.
I will. Hey, you guys, can you hear that? I can't hear anything.
I can't hear it either. Carl, can you turn the sound on? Carl, can you rewind and turn the sound on?
Okay, will do.
Where was I? Finish the distribution of assets. So, the only thing left is my wishes, my personal wishes for each of you. I wish for each of you that you will always stay curious. It's so hard to see what is right in front of you. And that's what I got to see through my viewfinder, all the things that I had walked right by and not noticed. To put your antennas up, respond to need where you see it. Leave the world a better place than you found it. Let yourselves be surprised over and over again by this remarkable opportunity that you have of being alive. We are tenants for such a short time, renting the space we take up, leaving to make room for the next tenant. And I am so happy that Shakes and Jerry will move into my space. Who'd have thought so late in life that I would stumble on the right person to take my place when I vacated. And finally, have so much fun. Know that you were loved. You gave my life meaning, made my world go round. This recording will stand for my last will and testament and render all former drafts of my will null and void. I am of sound mind and body this 21st day of February. Norman Beals.
The recording ends. Bud, Fig, and Jerry appear. Jerry is sitting in Norman's chair.
Coming, Shakes. It's dinner time.
Jerry exits. Bud and Fig are left on the screen. Their faces tell us everything has turned out as it should, and they now understand Norman's legacy. Jerry, his mom, and Shakes are the new tenants for the next little while. End of play.
Oh my goodness. Thank you guys so much. John, Paul, Niang, come on everybody, please. Thank you. Oh, there we go. Samantha Debicki. The brilliant J. Martin McDonough. Of course, Ben Rauch. And I would love if our is our author here, is our playwright here,
Yes.
Caroline. Oh, come on, Caroline. There she is. Oh, Caroline. Oh, thank you, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for such a beautiful play and such a beautiful. I don't know. I just couldn't think of a better way to sort of bring this chapter to a close. It was such a treat. I apologize for all the technical issues. There are always technical issues, which we get a second chance at. But you guys didn't miss a beat, and it was just so beautiful. I don't want to talk too long. I want to ask you guys a few questions and then send you off so you can rest, and I'll have a few closing things to say. But I don't want to subject you to have to be here for that, at least not for this first show. Caroline, this is what the third or fourth time you've written for us since. I mean, you've written for our Playmakers Intensive when it was live,
Yes.
and then you've written for us here. This play, I'm curious. What made you think of writing this, and tell us about the title of this play.
Well, I was inspired by the people that you gave to me, these wonderful actors, and we had a very brief meeting, and they, I think the audience should know, because it's so interesting, that someone's in France, someone's in Israel, 2 people are in Brooklyn, and 2 people are in Manhattan. So we are truly international, but we met on Zoom, and I talked to everyone and about what they wanted to do or play and who they were. And, you know, at first it's very intimidating. You're looking at all these disparate people who don't even know each other, and you're thinking, what's the net I can catch all their moonbeams in? And also it had to be on Zoom. So you had given us wisely the assignment to make that conspicuous, that these were not plays where we're supposed to believe we're in the same room, that people are in the same room. And I called it Lost and Found because I feel like we are all living through an enormous amount of loss because of the pandemic, but we've also found things inside ourselves and in each other that we might not have, as Norman said, we might have walked right by and not noticed. So I thought, you know, sometimes your losses can also be your gains. So that's why I called it Lost and Found.
Oh, yeah, I just think it's incredible. How does it feel to, you know, I know that there's a lot of challenges in this intensive. The fact that it is such a compressed time, the fact that there are some constraints. We want the work to be written for Zoom only because I think, in all fairness, this is all new work and it's being developed. And I thought, well, we're on this new medium, so let's write for this medium. It also allows us, my experience with doing live theater on Zoom, my personal experience is it's a little bit of a bridge too far sometimes because you have to rely on gimmicks and tricks, which are fine. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but to me, the audience, I don't think the audience ever believes for 1 second that 2 people are in a room. If I hand a glass through the screen and you take a glass and they're 2 different glasses, that's cute, but audiences say, oh, that's a cute camera trick, but it doesn't lend to it forces the audience to suspend their disbelief a bit further. And that's why we thought this would be a better way to do it. But my question, after all that explanation, is writing on Zoom in a compressed time for people you don't know. Do you, as a writer, find that daunting, refreshing, challenging? Like what is going through your head when you do this?
Yes, yes, and yes. Daunting, challenging, and in some ways refreshing. I mean, I happen to be blessed with, you know, an embarrassment of riches in these 4 actors. So that made it a little bit easier. But if we could have just been together, I mean, it's so unbelievable that we weren't, and that you guys managed to make me believe that you were a family, that you were a brother and sister, and that you're spread out all over the world is really quite remarkable, I have to say. I think it's what we have to do. I mean, when you say, is it challenging to write for Zoom? It's no more challenging than the rest of what we're all having to do in terms of converting. You know, it's like going from the metric system to another system. We've had to convert our lives. And this is one more conversion, in a sense, of writing for Zoom. I will always prefer to be a part of live theater and be sitting in the dark sometimes, holding our collective breath while we watch something live on stage. But that's not possible right now. So you guys made this feel very live in terms of its stakes, and that was a real blessing.
Yeah. Caroline, thank you. And that's a question I want to ask all of you guys very briefly, because one of the benefits of Zoom, and the thing is, I look at this as its own medium. I also look at this as another opportunity, another outlet to create on which we can create. Where when you're a small company such as ours and you can really only afford to do 1 or 2 full productions a year because they're very, very expensive, that sort of limits the amount of work that audiences can get you to see. But the other big thing is we are in New York. If we have audience or people who are in different parts of the world, how often are they going to be able to fly into New York and time it right to see one of our shows? This allows that, not only for our audiences, but more importantly, well, we can talk about people with disabilities also, how it allows them a lot more freedom to just watch from their home and watch from their screen, as opposed to having to traverse many obstacles to get to the theater. But from my point of view, I mean, right now, you mentioned it at the very top. Marty is in France right now. Ben is in Israel. It's the middle of the night for them. And here we all are live on Zoom together creating art. So that, to me, is astounding. And that's a great gift. So I'm going to start with you, Ben, because you're actually the furthest out, I think. What is this, now that you've done several Zoom plays with us and you've directed as well, you've done so much, describe this experience to you. I mean, how do you feel about it? I know it's never going to beat live theater. We will all agree on that, I think. But what is this like? What was this like for you?
I mean, as an actor, we're in a time where so many actors are just not able to do their craft. You know, it's it's a dream. It's like we get to work on great material that Caroline wrote. It's like really good stuff. It's not amateur, in any way. It's like heartfelt. It's poignant. It like has meaning. It makes people think, And this is there's probably a lot of stuff that people are not there is a lot of stuff people are not talking about, right now. I teach, also online, and I teach piano and voice, and, all different things, artistic. And I asked this one of my students who's like 17, I said, do you feel like lonely? Like now, right now, in this time right now? Because you're not seeing any of your friends face to face. Like you're just home, like on doing Zoom. And she's like, no one asked her that. She's like, yeah. I said, do you think your other friends have feel that way? And do you think has anyone said that to each other? Because that's the thing. No one has said that to each other. That we're not. I mean, we know we're not connected. Adults, like we're artists, so we talk about this kind of thing, But like we have to give words to other people, and this is I'm honored to do this. That I get to act, and I get to also present a scenario that Caroline wrote. That this is probably happening. That the families are, people are passing away, and people are just not seeing their loved ones, that one last time because of this, and it's heartbreaking. And people go to do something good in another country, and then they get stuck there,
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's very, very true. And yes, this has been a really interesting. I mean, as far as the pandemic is concerned, we know it's happening, but it's very, very different. It's very, in many ways, for most of us, it is very sterile. Unlike, for example, the tragedy of 9/11, which we all saw and experienced, and it was very sudden. It was sharp. It was also very graphically violent. There was carnage. There was, flames, and we all reacted to that. This was all in a very way sterile. I mean, we were all sort of locked away, and the only way you see numbers. So people now become just a number. So it's very easy to sort of say it's just, it might be easy for someone to say this isn't even real. But other than that, it makes it easier for us to not feel it. But yet it's happening, and it needs to be felt, and it needs to be dealt with. So yeah, I agree. Samantha, you've you've had quite a lot of experiences during this last year. This has been it's been a game-changing year for all of us, but it's been an especially poignant game-changing year for you. Because now you have a daughter that was born at the very beginning of this pandemic. And so your daughter hasn't ever, you haven't had the opportunity to do what most parents would do with their child, which is, get out every day and go for walks. It becomes a lot harder with masks and distancing. What has that been like for you?
Very, very difficult. It's interesting because she was born, she turns a year old on April 2nd. So she was born in New York City at the very beginning of the pandemic. She was born a month early, so she's doing great now. She spent a couple of weeks in the NICU. So every day I was going back and forth to the hospital after I was discharged, and I could see across the street the trucks, the ice trucks for the extra bodies. I mean, it was this dramatic confluence of my life was, I already knew my life was changing forever. And then the pandemic happened and the world was changing forever. And then, I had this child, and it was just, when we brought her home, it was just me and my husband with no one else who could even meet or touch her for months and months. So, to talk about just life and death and beautiful gains and painful losses all happening side by side at a time when your hormones are just thrashing inside of you. So I certainly it's been a year of losses and growth for me. And in terms of the work we're doing, I just remember in the very, very early days, a doctor, before she was even discharged from the hospital, saying, like, when you bring her home, read stories to her, talk to her, narrate what you're doing. Like, even these tiny infants absorb what you're giving them. So from like the very first moments of consciousness, we're telling stories to help people understand themselves and situate themselves in the world. So, it just made me hyper aware of how much the work of storytelling, whether it's theater or literature or film or music, is what keeps us vital and resilient and growing.
Yeah, it's very true. It's a fundamental fact. I think we learned as children, storytelling is the way. It is the most accessible way into our minds. It teaches many lessons through feeling, through empathy, which is why what we do is so important, and that never leaves us throughout our entire lives. Stories always are the best way in, and so to have a great story to tell and great storytellers to tell it, that's all it takes. And for our company that works to celebrate disabled artists, primarily, we're integrated. We mix disabled and non-disabled. It doesn't really, disability doesn't really matter. It only matters as much as the artists want it to matter, as much as we want it to matter in relation to the story we're telling. But in the end, it's a great storyteller, a great artist is a great artist. Full stop. Speaking of great artists, I want to talk to you, John Paul. I'm so fortunate that this is the second time you're working with us for our second intensive. And you are really an extraordinary talent. You and your mom, who everyone got to see last night in last night's production, the Khalil Saldo's play, Careful, was really wonderful. How has this been for you as a student? You're still in high school, so how has this been for you?
Yeah, well, I've definitely liked the chance to still be able to act from my house, and even though I can't go out, I still like that I'm able to do the things I like to do, even though I can't go outside.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, again, that's whatever, whenever something really beautiful happens, there's always some bad things that happen with it. Whenever something really bad happens, there's always some really beautiful things. That's just the balance. And it seems that when the darkest the tragedy, the brighter the light on the other side. So there have been many, many gifts in this very dark time. And so I think we have to always look to that. This has been a very productive time for us because we were lucky enough to stumble on a way to bring art and to bring artists together to create that art. So it wasn't just, it started as a lifeboat. We're going to figure out things to do while we're in this pandemic. And it turned out to be something much bigger. So that's why it's been such a great, extraordinary gift. So I want to ask you now, Marty, finally. This has been really a very interesting experience for you as well, because when this pandemic began, you were here in New York. We were working on a project, and we had to suspend that until until further notice. But in the course of this, you needed to get back to France since you spend most of your time in France, and you could not get back right away. But finally, over the summer, you were able to get back. So how has this been for you? I mean, I just want to say one other thing. The exciting part of that is, for me, because we haven't been able to be together. It doesn't, and for Ben as well, because Ben was here before when the pandemic began. This is like they might as well be here. Like Ben could be in his apartment downstairs, and Marty could just be across town, and I wouldn't know the difference because we're on Zoom. I only know that because that's what they're telling me. They could be lying to me for all I know. But how has this been, Marty? Oh, you're on. Yeah, you're.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think I should explain that we came back to France because my wife was planning on coming back on the 10th of March last year. And my doctor in France, who was a cousin of my wife, said, if you come back to France, the only safe way to do it is by rowboat.
Oh.
And so we stayed in New York until July, and it had been almost a year since she'd seen her grandchildren, so we didn't have much of a choice. Mm-hmm. So we got back. But I think this whole business, every generation, see, I'm old now, but every generation has a crisis of some sort. Some are more personal than others. I'm of the generation where I got drafted in 1968 and spent a year overseas after that. It was very frustrating, just as being in this this plague is frustrating. But by the same token, what happened afterwards, life goes on, If you're lucky enough to live through it, life goes on and you can get on with your life. And I think that the thing about Zoom that I find so nice is that for this theater and for another theater, I've been doing Zooms from France. And it works. It keeps my chops working. But, we need that. So this is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing, I think, for most actors who have to learn a new technique, a new style. And we'll get back to the real theater again. And I think it'll be more rewarding then than all of this time in the virus has made us feel. I don't know. I'm an optimist.
And I hope you're right, Marty. I think, you know, maybe one thing that we did learn in this time is how much we do need each other, and how much we need that contact and interaction, and how much the experience of being in the theater or in the arena or at the concert hall truly means. Well, listen, thank you guys all. I want to give you a few minutes before we start, and I have some closing remarks, and I don't need to. So you guys can just log off and rest for a few minutes, and I want to thank you for being such incredible.
Well, thank you for casting us.
For elevating our work and for making this company better, and for being such great artists. So so here we are, my friends. Our fourth virtual Playmakers Intensive. It's a wrap. We began this intensive 10 days ago on the 1-year anniversary of COVID-19. It's the time that it officially came here to New York and officially closed us down. And at that time, at the time that I began, I mentioned at the top that we were sitting on the horns of a paradox. We felt we needed to celebrate our resilience and spirit as we adopted to the new methods of creating art under lockdown. At the same time, we needed to remember and commemorate all that we lost during this past year, and more specifically, who we lost. We began this intensive with a play by Jeff Tabnick, telling the story of a young woman who gets trapped in a virtual conference room with a group of clowns who did not want to face what might await them in a post-pandemic world. And in the end, the young woman who dubbed herself as Hope triumphed and released the group from their virtual bunker. We ran through this week featuring outstanding, inspiring work that made us laugh, made us cry, made us feel, made us think. Tonight we end with a play of loss and love. All of Norman's wishes at the conclusion of Caroline's really brilliant play serve to echo our wishes to you. May we all continue to move forward, remembering the countless souls who brought us to this moment, and celebrating our spirit and determination to make our world a better place. So we began with hope, and we end with love.
Would you like to stream from here instead?
Not bad, huh? We want to thank all of our artists for sharing their time and talents in the development of this work, which we were honored to share with all of you. We want to thank our remarkable team, David Gersten, our press representative, Paul Gashler at 11th Hour Design for creating our magnificent logos and branding, Chris Hopkins and his entire team at 2020 Captioning, Brooke, Fenella, and Kathy. You didn't get to see them, but you saw their captioning running every night. Steve Asher, our general manager, Anne-Marie Morelli, our amazing voice for audio description, Tucker Salavara, our tech and social media guru. We want to thank all of our funders and supporters and contributors, particularly the Howard Gilman Foundation and New York City's Department of Cultural Affairs, for partnering with us and helping to bring this work to you. But to all of our funders, you know, we can't exist without all of you. So we're honored and we're so grateful to have you as our partners in art. Finally, and most importantly, we have to thank you, our audience, for joining us and being an active part of our work. For theater to exist, there must be an audience to whom the artists share their story. The audience's energy and enthusiasm and response is what fuels the work and drives it forward. So without you, our art has no place to go. If you like what we've shared with you, please tell your families and your friends. Please friend us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can see all of our work that you might have missed over the last week and all of our past intensives on YouTube and Facebook. Visit our website at tbtb.org. If you are inclined, partner with us by clicking the donate button at the top of the page. You can also see all of our work on our Facebook page, as well as some of our past stage shows. It is our wish in the coming months that we are finally able to reunite with you all in person once again, to share our full power with you as we gather once again at the theater. But I assure you that we've only begun to scratch the surface of this virtual new medium, and our work here will also continue. Our next virtual intensive, BPI 5, Time Capsule, will be presented from May 31st through June 13th. We will feature 14 brand new original works in progress from our artists. Between now and then, we have a few surprises in store, so I hope you'll stay tuned. On behalf of all of us here at Theater Breaking Through Barriers, thank you again for being a part of our work. Stay safe, celebrate with care, and always remember those who have gone before us and now help to steer us towards our path moving forward. Have a great night, and we'll see you in a few minutes on Facebook. Bye-bye.